Hello, I'm Pastor Melissa. Welcome to Fig Tree Christian. You notice that today we don't have our normal things. It's kind of blank, and that's on purpose. I want to take a week to just explain where I am mentally in all this. I'm down dressed. This is not worship right now. This is simply a place where we can discuss. I see the double-edged sword, and I like the term double-edged sword. I think that we should use that term more often because it's very accurate. We tend to think that our actions are either right or wrong, when both actions can be wrong, and there could be a completely different option that we need to consider or peruse, I guess. And when churches go online, they tend to just copy paste, which is something I've mentioned before. But in reality, we copy paste way more than we realize we do because we have a culture. Church culture is something that has happened over hundreds of years. We have incorporated a tone, we have incorporated a look, we have taken different pieces and we've just copy pasted. And we did that online, and we know when we look at a video, we know immediately whether we are watching something church or not, just by the inflection, by the way the person's speaking, by all those pieces. And I hate it. I hate it because, first of all, I get it. When someone who goes to an institutional church visits a website, it's good for them to know immediately, hey, this is something that I can connect to. And they do, and it works for them. But in a growing world where there are fewer and fewer people within the institutional church, having that site or that YouTube channel or anything that gives that connotation that this is church is bad. It's bad because while people within the church can connect to it and get it immediately, those outside the church feel very uncomfortable, very icky, I guess is the word that I want to say. And I know for a fact that you all that are in the institutional church, maybe not those who are watching this, I know that you don't get that you can't understand how your look, your tone, your culture is off-putting to those outside of that. Which gets to Fig Tree Christian. I have worked personally really hard to not be culturally church. And every time I take that move to not be culturally church, there are people who are enticed by it and they engage in it. But inevitably, there are always those within that group that are culturally church. And Fig Tree finds itself being churchy and culturally church. And in those moments, it always has to reset and restart and try again. It's like, the movie Castaway? It's like that. He's trying to leave the island, but there is that wave. You can only go so far off the island before the big wave gets you and pushes you back. And I always thought that I was trying to get to the island, that I was marooned in the middle of the ocean. And my goal was to get to the island so that there could be something structurally sound, when maybe it's to get off the island into another land. And it's been tough because the wave gets bigger with each time. Like I figure out, okay, so I can't do this, so let's reset and try something different. but the wave's bigger the next time because there are more people that are interested in what's going on. And so that there's more of a push to be culturally church. Now, this is because of grafting, which I've written tons on. You can go to figtreechristian.org and or you can look up figtreechristian.org and add graft to it, and it will, Google will give you some different articles. You can't do it on figtreechristian.org because everything has been archived, so it's really hard to find the articles, which I don't even know why Weebly does that. That's another story for another day. I was caught by Mr. Rogers. I was talking to my husband about Mr. Rogers. He has a movie. There's a movie about him that will be coming out, and I realized that me as a minister, I have two different types of things going on. I have substance, but I don't have pop. And when I was talking about what I should be online, people who get the views, who get noticed, have the pop. They have this thing about them, this allure, so to speak. And I don't have allure. I don't have the charisma to carry anything. And I realized that neither did Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was a very soft-spoken man who still had the charisma in his soft-spokenness. So what does that mean for me? I can't be up in your face, but I don't think that people want me up in their face. I don't want me up in my face. So if I don't want me up in my face, why do you want me up in up in your face? So that being said, I feel like there is some sort of happy medium where Fig Tree has a tone, right? Has this way that you know right away, oh, this is Pastor Melissa or Reverend Melissa. There is a Pastor Melissa out there that existed before me. But, Melissa is not a trademark name, and Pastor is not a trademarked name either. So there can be more than one Pastor Melissa in this world. So I am Pastor Melissa, but I'm also Reverend Melissa. Probably more Rev Melissa than I am anything else because of Reddit. Now I've gone off on a sidetrack, so we're going to go right back in. I know that there's a tone, but I also know that there are things that I lament that we can't do right now. And I know that's because no one sees the potential that I see, and they are not willing to put the money and support into it. And that breaks my heart because what I see as potential for this format is immense. And it's not worship. And I think that's where I haven't been on YouTube. I've been just on Facebook, because Facebook lends itself to live casting in a way that YouTube doesn't. Facebook is full of people who are my age and older primarily, and they're not there to think about the future of the church. They're there to live into their current state of the church. And I can see that, and I can see how this format is failing, because this is about the future of the church. What does the church look like in the next 20 years? And no one is thinking about it seriously. They're all like, can we change the tone of our worship style? And that is so superficial in the greater scheme of things. When Jesus was around, he wasn't saying, how do we change temple worship? He was outside the temple doing things completely unrelated to the temple, yet so fundamentally sacred to worship. And what he did looked so incredibly different than what the Sadducees and Pharisees were doing. That's where we're at today. That's where we're at. And I don't understand why no one is seeing this, that we need more than just, hey, let's try to do this one little tweak, this little thing right here. We need a complete overhaul of the system. I'm lost. I'm lost because I know where we could be, and we're not there. And 7 years into it, I am weary. I am so weary. I get wearier and wearier, and it's becoming less and less likely that I'm going to leave this island as each wave gets bigger and there's no one there to help me overcome the wave. I know for a fact that we can do this, and we're still talking about how do we make it look like church. So I just needed to make this segue message today. Not church. This wasn't church. This wasn't worship. This was just me going on a mini rant and explaining that something big will happen because it has to happen. Yes, it could burn to the ground. No, I don't want that. It could flourish and grow, but not in its current form. And I'm okay with wherever it goes. Not okay, because, I mean, there's lamentations that would happen if it goes one way, and I'll cry over that and move on. But I know there's potential, and my goodness, if we're not willing to really step outside ourselves, then we get what's coming to us. I've done my job. I have stated the truth, and if no one follows the truth, that's not on me. I can simply state what is, and the rest is on y'all. So, next week we'll go into the struggle between the paradoxes that seem to happen at the table. I think communion's a very sacred thing, and there's tensions. We should see the communion table like a very nicely strung guitar. You can't have a tone unless you have the tension from one side to the other. And to be able to make those chords, you need those tensions at the right places. So I'm excited about that. It won't be worship either. I'm just going to go over the tensions of communion, and that is it. I have to reevaluate this, and it's not to do the live cast thing. But what it is, I don't know. So you want to help? Then you should join Fig Tree Christian, and we can get this ball rolling. You should follow, you should subscribe, you should see, because it could be anything. We are going to redesign, I'm sure. It won't be at the craft area. This is a craft area. It will stay the craft area. But what will be the finished products? Clearly, we're not there because we're still in the craft area. But we'll see. Love y'all. See you next time.